This is Matador News, and these are today's headlines.
Mr. President, it was a great honor being with you, and I look forward to being with you many, many more times in the future. Thank you, sir.
President-elect Donald Trump meets with President Obama for the first time at the White House. Tens of thousands take to the streets to protest Trump's victory. World markets react to a Trump presidency. Hello and welcome to Matador News. My name is Minerva Medrano.
And I'm Janette Contreras. President-elect Donald Trump meets with President Obama to discuss a successful transition from one presidency to another. Obama says his administration is going to work hard to provide a smooth transition for Trump over these next 10 weeks. During their meeting, Trump and Obama exchanged their hopes for the future.
I very much look forward to dealing with the president in the future, including counsel.
Now are going to want to do everything we can to help you succeed, because if you succeed, then the country succeeds.
Vice President Joe Biden, also with Vice President-elect Mike Pence, and our First Lady Michelle Obama also met with Melania Trump.
Many people across America say the results of today's elections have them left in anger and disbelief. Tens of thousands of people filled the streets in at least 25 U.S. cities overnight. In Oakland, California, some protests turned violent when demonstrators filled the streets with fire and threw rocks at officers. In Los Angeles, protesters took matters into their own hands when they burned a piñata of Trump's head while chanting, "Not my president." And in Washington, protesters chanted, "No Trump, no KKK, no fascists, USA," as they marched to the Trump International Hotel. More demonstrations are expected to take place over the weekend. Security has been increased at all Trump buildings.
As the results poured on Election Day, Canada's immigration site crashed. The website's outage generated lots of attention on Twitter on Tuesday when the election results became clear. Celebrities like Lena Dunham, Bryan Cranston, and Stephen King have all said they would move to Canada if Donald Trump won the election. A Canadian immigration site spokesperson says the website is temporarily down due to an increase in the volume of traffic. A Canadian immigration attorney says Trump's speech has made the move to Canada seem like a good idea to many Americans.
Of Trump is definitely a lot harsher, I think I would say, a lot coarser than we've seen in political discourse ever in the United States. And I think it's created a feeling of fear.
According to Canadian government website, each of their immigration programs have different requirements for eligibility.
The Los Angeles City Council has banned living in vehicles near homes, parks, and schools overnight. Council members say for the first time it is against the law to sleep overnight in vehicles from 9 p.m. to 6 in the morning. The Los Angeles Homeless Security Services Authority says there are 28,000 homeless men, women, and children living in Los Angeles. Voters approved Prop HHH and JJJ on Tuesday. The props fight to help end homelessness. The initiatives will raise property taxes by 1% to pay for the permanent support housing and shelters for the city's homelessness population. City officials have allocated more than $100 million this fiscal year to tackle homelessness in the city.
Now, here's Matador News reporter Jacob Gonzalez with the passing of Proposition 58.
Public schools in California are now able to expand their bilingual and multilingual programs. Voters who were in favor of this proposition voted against English-only programs throughout the state. Proposition 58 passed with 73% of the voter support. The proposition was introduced by politician Ricardo Lora back in 2014. It also overhauls key concept from a 1998 law requiring students to take English-only classes. CSUN students shared their thoughts on the passing of this proposition.
Like recently, we see that jobs mostly want people to speak more than one language. So I feel like that mostly helped them for like when applying for jobs and stuff. So I think it'll affect public schools in a good way because it'll expand students' knowledge and it'll open them with more opportunities when working.
It's going to be hard for the ones that don't have the bilingual experience to adapt to the new law, but as time progresses, I'm pretty sure that they're going to get the hang of it.
Some education experts worry that California may not be prepared for Proposition 58 due to a teacher shortage. Now let's go back to Minerva in the studio.
5 ISIS recruiters have been arrested for allegedly trying to smuggle people out of Germany to join the terrorist group in Syria. Officials say the recruiters' job were to teach Arabic and Islamic beliefs to people being recruited. Federal prosecutors in Germany say the ringleader Ahmad Abudal admits to belonging to ISIS, and he also spoke at radical gatherings. The suspects allegedly targeted young Muslims in the northeastern part of Germany.
2 people are dead, including a police officer in Canonsburg, Pennsylvania. Officers were sent to a reported domestic dispute when both were shot as they approached the front of the house. Washington County Coroner Tim Warco has identified the fallen police officer as Scott Leslie Basham. He was 52 years old. The other officer is still in critical care. A second victim was later identified as a pregnant female, which was also killed at the scene. The shooter then died of self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Prosecutors in Orange County have charged a Uber driver with raping a 17-year-old girl. Police say 23-year-old Samir Moran is accused of picking up the teen from a Huntington Beach bar early Saturday and failing to drive her home. A family member got suspicious and used the Uber tracking tool to locate her. The girl's relatives found Moran in the backseat with the girl unconscious due to intoxication. Prosecutors allege Moran raped and orally copulated the teen. Once the family member rescued the girl, Moran fled in his vehicle. Huntington Beach police were alerted and they tracked him down in his apartment. He has since been released on a $100,000 bail.
Now, let's go to Alex Razo on how Trump's win will affect the world of business.
Thank you, Janette. With President-elect Donald Trump having stakes in more than 500 companies, many are wondering about the ethical complications. During his campaign, Trump never said he would sell his companies. The U.S. Financial Conflict of Interest statute prohibits executive branch officials from holding assets that would clash with their duties. Congress exempted the president and vice president from this. Some Americans say they are worried that Trump would be unable to do his presidential duties without putting his business interests first. The last few weeks have been filled with one surprise after another. As the World Series winning Chicago Cubs ring in the morning opening bell, stocks surged for a second day in a row. Many investors were concerned that a Trump win would be bad for the market. According to the Stock Traders Almanac, the S&P 500 has historically declined an average 1.1% after Election Day. But on Wednesday, the S&P rose over 1.1% and the Dow was up 1.4%. Today, both stocks hold strong. At last check, the Dow is up 1.25% and the S&P is up about 2.0%. Analysts say investors are now backing Trump. They're now betting on him undoing financial regulations created under the Obama administration. Now, let's go to Dahlia Perez with the latest in sports.
Thank you, Alex. Dodgers shortstop Corey Seager was named National League Outstanding Rookie of 2016. He is the 3rd Dodger to win this award. Seager is also nominated for the Jackie Robinson Rookie of the Year award and the National League MVP award, along with Chicago Cubs Chris Bryant and Washington Nationals Daniel Murphy. The winner of the National League MVP will be announced on November 17th. The Clippers promised a hot season, and so far they have been on fire. The Clippers hosted the Portland Trail Blazers last night with a 111-88 victory. Blake Griffin racked up 22 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 assists. Chris Paul scored 19 points, 7 assists, and DeAndre Jordan scored 16 points and 9 rebounds. Clippers' strong defense held Damian Lillard to only 8 points. The Clippers are so far 7-1 this season. World Cup qualifier games for Russia 2018 have begun. Today, Colombia will play Chile, where they have a slight advantage since Chile's star player Alexis Sanchez is injured. Argentina will play Brazil today, and tomorrow the United States will host Mexico. CSUN men's soccer clinched a spot in the Big West Conference final after defeating Sacramento State. At the end of the full-time and double overtime, the game went to penalty kicks. Sacramento State missed the 6th penalty kick and defender Patrick Hickman scored the winning penalty. The Big West final will take place at the CSUN soccer field against Cal State Fullerton this Saturday at 5 in the afternoon. Now, back to Alex with the news and entertainment.
Ellen DeGeneres continues to make people laugh despite disappointment over the election. The talk show host gives a message of hope to remind America of its strength. She quoted former First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt saying, "It's better to light a candle than curse the darkness." Always a comedian, Ellen then showed her audience a clip from Planet Earth showing a baby iguana escaping a hungry snake. Brad Pitt has reportedly been cleared of accusations of child abuse. A source close to the case told CNN that Pitt was cleared by the Los Angeles County Department of Child and Family Services. The actor was accused of hitting one of his children on a plane back in September. Pitt's now estranged wife, Angelina Jolie, coincidentally filed for divorce the day after. Documents filed say Jolie requested sole physical custody of the couple's 6 children. Sources close to the Oscar nominee say he was cooperative during the investigation and is now requesting joint custody. Now, let's go back to Dahlia with updates on health.
Put down the supplements. Doctors say Americans are taking too many pills to solve the non-existent problem of vitamin D deficiency. Boston doctors in the New England Journal say vitamin D has largely been misunderstood. It is necessary for strong bones, and there might be some other health benefits included, but how much is actually needed is not certain, even among nutritionists. Food is more available now in the United States. Doctors say there is no danger of being deficient of vitamin D unless someone wasn't eating enough. Less than 6% of people ages 1 to 70 are actually deficient in vitamin D. The first 24 hours of Trump's America have boosted activity on the suicide hotlines. In 1 hour on election night, while the swing states that would decide our next president flipped between red and blue, the phone at the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline ranked 660 times. The Lifeline saw a % increase in calls on Monday and 140% increase late Tuesday night and Wednesday morning as the election drew to a close. Crisis text line reported the words election and scared were the top 2 words being mentioned. The election results have worried some CSUN students. President Diane Harrison wrote a letter to students asking them to seek help if they were having a hard time, particularly students worried about the immigration status of a family and friends. CSUN will be hosting students at a Dreams to Be Heard workshop. Students will be offered support and snacks in the Burbank Room in the East Conference Center near the gym at 3:30. Now let's go to Matador News reporter Tanya Nazarian with news on the Calexit.
A movement for California to become its own country has increased since the election. The campaign called Yes California is in support of the state's constitutional exit from the U.S. We asked students if they were for or against leaving the United States. Here's what they had to say.
I think I'm against it just because, I don't know, California has the resources to survive on its own, but I don't think as a government by itself it would last very long.
There's a part of me that feels for it, but I'm against it. What's the big deal? I'm an urban planning major. It's not going to do me much good to work election by election. I'm not going to get anything done if I just focus on my side. I am going into a field where I have to work with the other side.
It's kind of a scary thing to think about if you think about it. I mean, just because Trump's president, I mean, it's scary, but we got to see what's going to happen first. Maybe things won't change too much. Maybe it'll be all right.
The amendment would have to be approved by 2/3 of the House of Representatives and 2/3 of the Senate. It would also need to be accepted by 38 of the 50 states. CSUN Urban Studies Department Chair Robert Kent said this type of movement has come up several times. He added that the only time it actually happened, it led to the Civil War. He declined further comment. Now let's go back to Janette with more news.
Tomorrow set aside to thank and honor all veterans who served honorably in the military, in wartime and in peacetime. Originally, Veterans Day was set as a U.S. legal holiday to honor the end of World War I, which officially took place on November 11, 1918. An observation campus will be closed tomorrow.
The weekend weather is going to be hot. Today the high is 89 degrees with a low of 65. On Friday, it is going to be sunny with a high of 85 degrees and a low of 63 degrees. For Saturday, it's going to be mostly cloudy, and Sunday, it's going to be sunny again with highs in the 80s. Have a safe 3-day weekend. Thanks for tuning in to Matador News. I'm Minerva Medrano.
I'm Janette Contreras.
I'm Dahlia Perez.
And I'm Alex Razo.